Hello, today I'd like to welcome you to a Devon Junior Chess Association tournament, a chess tournament for young people in the area. Don't have to be from Devon. And I'll talk you through what happens when you arrive. Well, actually, just before you arrive, can you make sure you bring with you a packed lunch and a drink, something to do between rounds. Some young people seem to come to our days and not spend very much time playing chess because their games are over very quickly, but something to do between rounds, maybe a book or something not that involves gaming or studying. And please bring a parent or other adult to look after you, because we won't have time to do that. Please come into the hall and sit down. The hall is where you wait for chess, and we play chess in different rooms. So come into the hall and sit down, and then just wait for the start of the day. What could be easier? At the start of the day, my colleague, or Tim, or Mr. Onions I should call him, or myself will get on the stage and tell you about what's happening. We'll say important things like, is there a fire alarm planned, and what to do if there is a fire alarm, and where are the toilets, and perhaps more importantly, well, as important, where do you go to play? So we'll tell you where the playing rooms are, or we may lead you there at the start of the day. We hope to provide some refreshments for you, drinks and snacks if you want to buy one of those during the day, but we won't have a proper lunch for you. Please bring that for yourself. And we'll also, Mr. Onions may well organise what we call a bookstall. It will have books, but it'll have other things as well, like little chess badges and things that you might want to pick up. Have a look at those. Please look after the school or whichever venue we're playing in. If we make a mess of it, they won't let us back, and we'd like to come back. Please also look after each other. If it's not your first tournament, then it might be somebody's first tournament, and make sure that if anybody's looking a bit lost or uncertain about what to do, say hello and see if you can help. And then the day will start. Round one of the tournament will lead you or send you off to your playing room, which will be labelled, I hope, under 8s or under 9s or under 10s or whatever it is. Find a pairing board. A pairing board looks a bit like that thing at the bottom of the screen there, and it has a list of players, some of whom are white and some are black. What we'd like you to do is find your name and find the number in the middle. There may be a number right by your name. I'm not showing that there, but they'll find your name, find your number in the middle. That's your table number, and find your or your board number, and then you can go off and find the table with your board number on it. Find your table, and then your opponent will arrive, because they'll have done the same thing, and they'll have found out that they're white instead of black, or black instead of white, and will come and join you. If while you're waiting, you'll find a chessboard, I hope, set up for you. Could you just check that the chessboard's set up properly? By properly we mean that there are some board checks to do. Top right and bottom right on where you're facing it, on your right hand side nearest you, there should be a white square and not a black one. So please look for that. Once you've done that, can you make sure that the queens are on the right colour square? So the queen should be on a square of her own colour, white queen on a white square, black queen on a dark square. And just lastly, make sure the bishops and knights are the right way around. The bishops go on the inside next to the king and queen, and the knights go the other side next to them. So 3 little things to look at on your board. When you play the games, please no phones in the playing room. I mean, I don't know why you might bring one anyway, but please no phones in the playing room. It's one of the rules of chess now. You mustn't have a phone with you. We'll be playing all the rules of chess, and it may be you're not used to using all the rules of chess, but the rules include touch move. If you touch a piece, you must move it if you can. Touch take. If you touch one of your opponent's pieces, you must take it if you can. We castle king first, please. And we also use a funny pawn move called en passant, and if you don't know what that is, I'll put a link in the video description explaining the en passant rule. So we play all the rules of chess, please. And if anything goes wrong during your game, and you're not sure that it's right, put your hand up straight away. So if you think your opponent's played a funny move or something else is not right, just put your hand up and we'll try and sort it out. It may be too late to do anything about it after the game, so put your hand up straight away, and we won't mind being asked, even if it's all right. So please make sure of that. We are going to play with chess clocks. If you haven't used a clock before, you and your opponent both have your own time limit, so you get 15 minutes or something, and your opponent gets their own 15 minutes, and you use your own time, and at the end of it, hopefully, we'll finish in half an hour or so. You actually we usually play with a little extra few seconds per move, so if you play quickly enough, you actually can never run out of time. So no matter how long the game is, you get an extra 5 seconds or something per move, and off it goes. So a chess clock, that's the underneath of a chess clock, and there's a on-off button top left there in the shadow. Turn it on and then turn it over, and it will look a bit like this, we hope. If it doesn't look like that, you can press the bottom right hand button. There's a tick. If you keep pressing tick long enough, it will come around to look like this. Now there's a little black king and a white king on the face there, next to just after the numbers, and the white side will be the side with the there's a little rocker in the middle there, with the rocker up. I don't know if you can see that. So the rocker up says which side's white and which side's black. And to make the clock work, at the start of the game, after you've shaken hands, you press the middle button there, and white's clock should start ticking. And there it is, ticking down, 6 seconds. And you think about your move, you make your move, and once you've made your move with the same hand that you used to move a piece, you press the clock. So just press it gently and it will stop, and your opponent's side will go up and your opponent's clock will start ticking down. So you get your 15 minutes or so and they get their 15 minutes. The reason we use the same hand is that sometimes if you get short of time, it can be tempting to keep one hand near the clock to press the clock with, and you make a move very quickly and then you press the clock almost straight afterwards. And then sometimes if you're even shorter of time, you might move a piece and then press the clock at the same time. And then if you're even shorter of time, some people actually start pressing the clock first and then moving, and that's not allowed. So we do it with the same hand, please. Move the piece, press the clock with the same hand. Anyhow, so black's clock is going now. Black's having a little think, and when they've had a chance to think about what to do, they will press their side of the clock, and their clock will stop and white's clock will start, and then off you go for the rest of the game. So it just counts down gradually. When one side or the other runs out of time, it'll show a big black flag on the screen, and it's up to you to notice that. Your opponent may say, "Oh, I've run out of time," and but they might not do that. They might keep quiet until you've run out of time as well or something. But so it's up to you to notice who's run out of time and when. Otherwise they may play on and try and checkmate you sneakily even though they don't have any time left. So so you notice that, and actually you notice that. Don't if you notice that somebody else's flag has run out of time on a different board, you mustn't say. You must never interfere with another player and their game, particularly it's not your game at all. So let everybody else worry about their game, you worry about yours, and that's how the clocks work. And it actually gets very, once you've been after the first game, you won't notice anything unusual about using them. And so there we go, that's your clock going down. After the game, please shake hands, reset the pieces in the clock, and fill out a results slip, and take the results slip to the section controller, and then return to the hall. And what could be easier now? I'll tell you about results slips. Results slips look like this, and you'll have one for every round, I think, and you just fill it in after the game, and so it tells whoever's organising the event what round you played, say round 1, what board number you were, say board 8, and you fill in the white side and the black side, your names, and you write who lost with a 0 and who won with a 1, And also, if you would please, just write on it the section, under 8 or under 9 or whatever area it is. Then you hand that in, and then we can mark that up for the result for the controller, and then the same result slip goes out into the hall and is marked up on the tournament charts, and then we can see what's going. You can see what's going on in the tournament. I'll have a word about that in a moment as well. So that's the result slip that you fill in, and you fill it in, hand it in, then return to the hall, and that's more or less all there is to it. Let me show you the tournament charts. So this is a complete tournament chart, and as we go through round by round, the result slips go into the hall, and then we'll write up on the board for each player how they're getting on. And if we just take the top row there, we can see that player number 1 there, Bilal, played in a game and won, so he gets a 1 point. And we also mark up who they played, which number they played, number 14, that was Charlie, and whether they were white or black. So Bilal beat Charlie with the black pieces, well done, and that was round 1. Now the next few games didn't go too well for Bilal, so he stayed on 1 point, but then again in round 5 he got another point, so he goes from 1 to 2 points, and that was against Samuel Keller. And then in the last round he won again against Nilab, who didn't have a good tournament at all. So in fact, although we started off with not too many points, we caught up and got half marks by the end. And while we're pairing the competition, we usually try and pair you with players who have the same number of points or about the same number of points. It's not always absolutely possible, but you can see that like on the first round everybody's got 0. But after in the second round there, Bilal played number 13, Daniel, and who also won the first game. And then Daniel went to 2 points, so he went off to play somebody else who had 2 points. Whereas Bilal will have played somebody else who's still got 1 point in round 3. And if you check across there, you can see that that's how that happens. So a Swiss system is rather nice. If it was a knockout and we had 32 players, after round 1 half of you could go home, but in the Swiss system we keep feeding you back in even if you lose a game, so everybody gets 6 games and everybody gets a chance to get 6 points. And even if you don't get even if you don't win your first game, you might win all your others and then win the tournament overall. So I don't think that happened to anybody there, but you can see that so Oscar there, number 9, had a couple of losses after the first round, but then got 1, 2, 3, 4 and finished on 4 points out of 6, which may have been good enough for a prize. So don't give up hope if you lose the first round, and certainly don't go home or anything like that. And then you can see how that works. Oh, I should say you do get 6 games, so please don't leave, and if you do leave, tell us if you're going to leave the hall, otherwise we'll send out the police for you or something, and we won't keep a track on you throughout the day, but if we notice somebody's missing and doesn't turn up for a round, you must tell us that you're going, otherwise we don't know what's happening, because there's too many players going from room to room throughout the day for us to keep track of everybody. But if somebody doesn't turn up for a round and we're expecting you, we will get worried about you, and we'll go and look for you. So if you do leave, please let us know. Anyhow, I hope you enjoy the day. It's as simple as that. Well, if it sounds complicated, we'll explain it all again on the day, and you can see it working. And there's loads of people around you who have been to these tournaments before, and they'll look after you as well. So I hope you enjoy everything, and see you on the day.